Right. So, since we are in the era of sharing and oversharing, marriages, how we kiriwa, STIs or no STI, lazy husband, jobless wife, wife living above her means, I thought I would come out here and let you know that I have a secret I have been hiding. And yes, I have a confession. Let's dive into that video, alright?
I have a confession. Don't take it personal.
Hello everybody, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Wemimo and I'm also known as Start Mom of 5 and also known as TMO5 Kaniko. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back. So how are you guys? And yes, thank you to 23,000. We currently have 23,000 on this channel, and I wouldn't have been able to achieve it without each and every one of you who have been watching me all these years. And thank you to the new subscribers who love what we do here on this show. I don't take this for granted at all. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and you all matter to me, just as you all believe that I matter to you, and you've been coming all the time to watch my videos and obviously learn one or two things from everything that I've been sharing. So with that being said, I think I would say for some people on the street who all they trend or all they live on is sad news, bring a seat and come and sit down. For all the faceless, faceless bloggers, those who pass insult, those who put your name, your picture on their thumbnail, those who take the bad things out of your videos and they share it about here, I want you to come and take a seat here. And to those of you who do not like this face on this feed of YouTube, or on TikTok, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, I want you to also come and take a seat here, because do not shoot the messenger but listen to the message in this video. So jokes apart, this video is about me sharing in detail my experiences with the social services in the UK. So I'm going to be describing or explain to you what happened, the impact it's had on me, the impact it has had on my relationship, the what it had on my relationship with my child, and obviously my life in total. So why did I decide to come share this story? I'm mainly sharing this story for those parents, Nigerian African parents, who are in the UK at the moment. I just want you to take a leaf out of this story. Some of you might say, oh, she's catching cruise, whatever. Like, I don't care. If that's what you think after listening to this side of the story, then do whatever you want to do. So it happened that I think it was sometimes in March or in April. As you know, I have amazing, beautiful 5 children, and my oldest is 21 years old. My youngest is 13 years old. So I've got 3 beautiful girls and 2 handsome boys. So I have raised children from babies till this age. And my first oldest child, she was 9 months old when I came into the UK, which meant that I had my 4 other children here in the UK. And one of the ones I had in the UK, she's actually 20 years old. So, which means that I have perfectly and handsomely and miraculously raised 5 children without being in the book of the social services, well, until recently. So fast forward, or maybe rewind back to between March and April. I had just come back from work on I believe it was on a Thursday. No, was it on a Thursday? I had just come back from a Thursday, and was it on a Thursday? I can't even remember. It was a weekday in the week, and I was in my bed. Obviously, because I work long shift. Anytime once I come back from work, I check the kids are fine. Once they do this, no, they all they do things on their own. Cook at times I batch cook and they just sort themselves out. So I check with them, and most of the time, if I don't have any live stream or if I don't have any video to edit on my channel, 9 o'clock I am already in my bed, because I have to wake up at 5 every day to go to work, and I leave home about maybe just before 7 o'clock, because I start work at 7 o'clock. I start work at half 7 in the morning, so I love to give myself enough time to travel, enough time to prepare for when I get to work and stuff like that. So I remember that evening I checked on the kids as usual, did what I had to do by 9 o'clock, and maybe about 10 o'clock, I slept. And then I think it was about midnight, 12 midnight, I heard sound of bang, 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 as if there was a fight. And guys, I am not a heavy sleeper, I'm a very light sleeper. Any slight noise will wake me up. So when I heard that noise, I was like, where is that noise from? So I jumped out of bed in my pajamas, ran out, and it was my second son, who is 15 years old, and my oldest daughter, who is 21 years old. My 15-year-old went into the bedroom of my oldest daughter, and it was like, they were screaming, and my daughter was screaming as well. And I was like, so I was saying to my own son, like, what are you doing in their room at 12 midnight? He said he was looking for his iPad charger. And I was like, iPad charger at midnight? Like, get out of your sister's room and into your room right now. So he gradually, the way boys are, is like when I'm talking about my 15-year-old son, it looks like a 21-year-old boy. And my 21-year-old daughter, she's she's tall, she's about 6'2", petite. But my 15-year-old boy looked like a 21-year-old big teenager or big adult. That's so he left the room and he was standing in the hallway. And I was screaming at my daughter that, no, why are you holding on to his charger? Just give him his charger and stuff like that. So she said, Mom, I don't have his charger. I don't know why he's asking me for his charger. So I left my daughter's room to go to the hallway to go speak to my son. As I was speaking to him, he walked away from me into his bedroom. So I went along with him. And as I was about going into the bedroom with him, he slammed his bedroom door in my face. Yes. As an African parent, your child does that to you. What would you do? He slammed the door. He walked out of me and he slammed the door to his bedroom in my face in annoyance. This was all about between 12 midnight and half 1 o'clock, okay? So in annoyance, I opened the door and I gave him a smack across the shoulder. That, how dare you? How many times have I warned you that anytime I'm speaking to you, you don't walk out on me? And the worst you could do, and also, you did not only walk out on me, he slammed his bedroom door in my face. I was like, if that was your teacher talking to you at school, would you walk out on him or slam the door in his face? So I said to him, go to bed because you have school the following morning. So I remember it was a Thursday night. So I was not working on the Friday. So he went to school as normal. Obviously he didn't say hello to me. He went to school as normal. And I was at home doing my stuff about 4 o'clock. Mind you, on every Fridays, you close from school about, I think, 2:40 in the afternoon. So by half 3, I was expecting him to be back home. So his sister returned back home and she brought back the bus pass belonging to his older brother. And I was like, where is my son? Where is your brother? She was like, Mom, I don't know where he went, but he asked me to bring this bus pass back home. So that bus pass belongs to my oldest son, meaning that he has lost his own bus pass. So like, if he's giving you this bus pass to bring back home, how is he going to get home? So about 5 o'clock, I started to get worried, like, where is this boy? And then I received a phone call. So from the social services, there's been an incident. It's not an incident that's landed. It's not an emergency. It's just to say that the police are now involved. From the social services, your son will not be coming home tonight. And I'm like, excuse me, what happened? What hospital is he? They were like, no, it's not an accident. It's just that he has reported you to us at school and he won't be coming home. And right now, the police are on their way to the house of his friend whom he said he wants to go to for the night. And I was like, what friend? What friend are you talking about here? They were like, yes, that's the friend's place you want to go. And that they will be coming over to speak to me. So long story short, the social services came to the house. I informed my husband. He came home as well. And then we were both sitting down. And the social services were like, well, your son has reported an incident at school. And because of that, because they had to protect him, he will not be coming back home. And they were like asking me, is there any underage at home? And I was like, yes, I have a 13-year-old. So I was like, you know what, hold on. I knew what is starting all of this. So I told them that, you know what, this also happened. This was the incident. And prior to that, in 4 of his subjects at school, he failed to. And he failed to bring a report home. And obviously I've already told him that, come, if you fail this subject, there's consequences. So that consequences prior to him misbehaving was that I collected his mobile phone from him and I also took his Xbox off him, which meant he had no Xbox, he had no mobile phone, all he had was a school iPad. So obviously that was part of the thing that upset him. And obviously he thought of that. And I also think it was peer pressure. So service were like, okay, because I admitted to, smacking him, that they're going to report to the police. And they asked me that, what do I do? And I told them I'm a nurse. And well, due to the nature of your job, we're going to have to, let the NHS so know, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, okay, because of the incident, because of the fact that I've told them what happened, that they would have to take my 13-year-old daughter, who happens to be my last child, they would have to take her out of the house except I leave this house. I was like, excuse me, I've got other adults, young adults at home, whom you can ask what happened. They were like, no, they're not going to ask them because obviously I'm their mom. They will say things in support of me. So they gave me an ultimatum. Yeah, the social service, I remember it was a male and a female. It was mainly the male that was speaking to me, an elderly man like that. So he was like, so he went back and forth on the phone speaking to his supervisor, and he came back in and said, well, mom, for the fact that you've told us what happened, the supervisor is happy because you're cooperating with us. And me, I didn't see it as cooperating because I was like, I have nothing to hide, right? He's my son. And I remember clearly the social service was saying to me, you have your parental rights. You have your parental rights. You're allowed to express your parental rights. And me, I'm asking him, what are my parental rights here? If you're saying you're going to report me to the police, if you're saying you're going to report me to my employer, if you're saying you're going to report me to NHS, blah, 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 where actually is my parental right here? So it was like, you know what, mom, I have to be honest with you. We have dealt with some African parents who, even though we know exactly what happened, they will lie. So I was just like, so now what is going to have to do is that there's two options from me. It's either if I decide to stay at home, that if I don't want to leave my flat, they will have to take my 13-year-old out to an emergency foster. But if I decide to leave the house, my daughter could stay. Obviously, my husband's at home and stuff like that. So I said to my husband, there's no point going back and forth. I'll leave. So I remember it was a Friday, and I was like, that was when it dawned on me that I actually don't have any friend that could actually call in an emergency and say, can I come to your house for a few days? Yes, that was when it dawned on me that I was actually a loner. Yes, I was actually a loner. I have no friends that I could call to say, can I come to you for a few days? So I was like, you know what? I was speaking to some people in the back. Was my beautiful sister, you know yourself. My beautiful baby sister, you know yourself as well. I know both of them were frantically trying to book an hotel from me from their long distances. Like, no, I'm going to book an hotel for you. This, that, that. I was like, no, at some point I felt like I don't want to stress them. So I said them not to bother that. There's one lady I went to school with. I went to uni together with. She's a young lady. She has two boys as well that, you know, I'm just going to reach out to her. I'm hoping that she's available. So fortunately, I reached out to her. And she was like, yeah, sis, you can come over. So I packed my bags, I packed my bags and I left, grabbed my laptop. So that same night, Friday night, I emailed my manager straight away to explain what happened in case, anything backfires. So back and forth, my son was taken away on the Friday. I didn't see him on the Saturday. He was not willing to speak to anybody. And then the social services were, communicating with me back and forth. So I went to work. I was full of so many emotions. Went back to work on the Monday, went to speak to my manager, and I just burst into tears. And oh, my manager, she's a lovely lady. My manager and a couple of my team leaders, absolutely lovely, strong, super women. I broke down in tears, and she was like, Wemi, take your time. I know you're a lovely mom. I know I don't have anything negative to say to you. Take your time. Just let us know that we are here for you. So I got that assurance from work, and that also encouraged me to fight that I am not a bad mom. So on the Monday, I was back and forth with social services. I never got any call from the police. My son went to school as normal. I was not hearing from him. And then the social service kept communicating with me. So remember, I've left home since Friday. So by Monday, it was day 3. By Tuesday, about 4 o'clock, the social services text me to say, there's going to be a meeting. And remember, I said because I already admitted that I was going to smack him. What he now said to him that was that the law has changed in Scotland. So the law changed on the 7th of November 2020 that any physical contact you have with a child is going to be deemed as assault and you could be charged by the police. So they will report it to the police. Yeah, so prior to 2020, if that happened, nothing would have been heard of it, right? But because the law changed in 2020, it meant that me smacking him was an offense. Yes, it was an offense. So I remember on Tuesday, like I said, I was all shit of emotions. At some point, I contemplated taking time off work, but I was like, no, there's no point crying over spilled milk. I'm not a bad mom. Like I said, guys, my oldest daughter is 21 years old. I have raised 5 children in Scotland for that amount of years, and I don't have any police record with any of my children. I don't have any police record with I don't have any record with the social services about child abuse, or there was nothing like that about me. So I had nothing to, nothing to be scared about. At some point, I was contemplating maybe go seek legal advice about, like, no, there's no point for that. If it was time for me to seek legal advice, I know when to. So but I was checking in with my kids. My other kids were texting me, be like, "Mom, are you alright? Mom, do you need anything? Mom, you can come home. We won't tell them." And I'm like, "Guys, don't worry." And at that point, I felt like I needed to be away as well, because there was a lot going on in my life at that moment. There was a lot going on. Okay. Maybe I should call it midlife crisis. I don't even know what to call it, but yes, there was a lot going on that I was just kind of like, what, maybe this was it. Move, I need out of this house. Okay. So I remember about 5:40 p.m. in the afternoon, I received a text message from the social worker saying that I should attend a meeting at my son's school. So I already told my husband, and then so I told them I work, and work were like, well, me, if you need to go, only go attend the meeting, we're absolutely fine. So I drove to work, I drove to a school, we had the meeting, and then the social service was sitting down there. The elderly guy, my husband, and my son could not look me in the eye. And at that moment, when I sat across the table from him, I felt like giving him correct water. Yes, I felt like giving him correct water. So we're both sitting down there, and I've not given him back his phone either. So I remember the social worker, the guy is sitting down. I'm going to refer to the social worker as Adam. So I remember Adam sitting down there, and we're like, "Mom, we've carried out our investigation, and which was why it took us that long to get back to you and to arranging this meeting. And we have found that in 20 years, we don't have a record of you with the social services. There's no record of you or any of your children with the social services." So which made us believe that you are you are a parent who knows what she was doing. You are a parent who is quite good at, at looking after your children. So we had no reason to keep your son where he is. We are happy for him to come back home, because we know as a parent, you know what you're doing. And trust me, how many Nigerians in diaspora, if you're a social worker, I'm sure you will know. Like, they collect African people children left and right. So this social worker said to me, "We don't have any issues with you, and we're happy for your son to come back home with you." And they were like, "No, we've already contacted the police, so it's up to the police to decide if they're going to press any charges or not." So they were like, what, obviously, and they were saying to my son as well that, "Come, son, you're going to go home, but you have to understand there's going to be ground rules from your parents." And the social worker was like, in terms of his mobile phone, "We are not ignoring you, we are not abandoning you, but mom, I want you to make up your mind about giving him the mobile phone back, because he wants to keep communicating with him, blah, 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 blah." And prior to that, you remember when they said I have to leave home or not, they actually spoke to my daughter, my 13-year-old girl. They asked me to excuse them. So I excused them, and they were asking my daughter a lot of questions. And my daughter was like, "Mom, they were just asking me that, do I know what to do if I was in a position whereby somebody smacked me, or if your mom smacked you, do you know what to do?" Those are the questions they were asking my 13-year-old. Yes. They asked my 13-year-old, do you have the number of the police? Do you know who to call if your mom or your dad did this to you? Those were the questions they asked my daughter. Yes. Those were the questions they asked her. Anyway, fast forward to the meeting. So the meeting ended, and we had to go home, and they were like, they will keep communicating with my son, blah, 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 blah. So I think about April or May, I was at work, and my kids said to me, "Mom, the two policemen came to the house, they were asking for you." And I was like, to work, like, why would the police be looking for me? I've not committed any crime. I've not committed any offense. So that's me thinking about, have I driven past a camera? Have I oversped? Did I speed where there's a speed camera? Did I go above my mile per hour? Like, I was thinking in my head. I was even saying to colleagues at work, colleagues were like, "Women, don't bother about it, blah, blah, blah." So apparently they left a card, and I phoned, and a few days later, a police officer phoned me to say, due to social incident regarding your son, that we are going to be giving you a caution. And the caution means that you are only allowed a caution once every 3 months, and then it stays on your name for 2 years. And if I decide not to accept that caution, then they will forward it to the Scottish Prosecutor Fiscal, and then they will take the case to court, and I could get convicted by a judge for assault. So I was like, on top waiting. I mean, obviously, looking back to when the officer was speaking to me, you could tell that the officer was really not comfortable giving me the caution, because I'm the mom. Where's my parental right? It was a smack across the shoulder. No prints left, no mark, no injury, nothing, you know. So they brought it. So when I was told that, I obviously told my manager at work. I explained everything as well. She was like, "No, wait, it's not." And you guys know I'm a nurse, so I'm due to revalidate. And I'm like, what is this impact going to have on my job? So I spoke to my manager. My manager was like, "Wait, I don't think it's any big deal. That, you know what, whatever the question is, let us know, and they will seek advice." So I received the question. It was like a long slip of paper. You know all those supermarket receipts? That was what the question looked like. And he wrote the incident, my name. He said common assault or something. That was what it was written on. And there was an instruction that if I decide to accept the question, I don't need to do anything. But if I don't want to accept it, I can let them know, and then they'll obviously take it further from there. So with me being a nurse, the impact here is that anything, whatever question you receive as a nurse, you need to notify the Nursing and Midwifery Council. So that's where you being a member of a trade union is very, very important. So obviously I needed advice. So I reached out to RCN, Royal College of Nursing, is like a workforce for nurses. And I said to them, this is it. I self-referred myself to them. I said, come, this happened, and I need legal advice. And yeah, I think about 2 weeks ago, that was that, they called me back and gave me an advice. I know it's not a big issue. There are nurses who have committed heinous crimes, and they are still working as a nurse. That the only thing will be that if I decide to leave my work today and apply for another job, it might be on my disclosure. And I'm like, if they ask me, I'll tell them what happened. So I don't have, and so I accepted. In a nutshell, I accepted the caution. So and I said to them, my concern now is that I'm due to revalidate. Should I wait till when I'm due revalidation or contact the NMC? So the legal advice I was given was that contact the NMC yourself. So I also went onto the NMC website, Nursing and Midwifery Council. I did a self referral, like it's more or less like me reporting myself to them. Guys, this thing that I'm laughing about, it messed up my emotional, like it messed me up emotionally in a variety of ways. It messed me up. So I did contact the Nursing and Midwifery Council. Like, I'm reporting myself, so they will ask me a lot of questions. They ask me for the proof of the caution. So while I'm doing that, I'm letting my manager at work know, and so they contacted me back. They reached out to my manager, and my manager was not available. So by this time around, my head of department asked me, asked to see me. I said, yeah, egbele, me, where me, head of department, head of nursing in my work. They called me, and I think the good thing was because I have been transparent from the beginning with my manager, so my manager was available. I told her everything, but when when the head nurse received the notification from NMC about me, my manager was not able to tell her the exact thing I've been sharing with her. But the head of nurse asked my manager, "Do you have any concerns about Wemi?" And the word according to her was that my manager said she has no concern whatsoever about my practice, about my attitude. She has no concern whatsoever. So I had a chat with the head of nursing at my work, and she's a lovely woman. I've met her in person a few times, and she looks like, and I've always avoided her gaze, but she was so lovely speaking to her. So she was like, "No, Wemi, this was all we got. That can you just tell me what happened, and so I can make it of, So I did told her, and she was like, "Oh, really?" And she was like, "No, Wemi, there's lots of support for you. There's spiritual and health well-being support for you at work if you need it." So she reassured me that she's just gonna let them know that she's already spoken to my line manager, who says she doesn't have any concern about me, and that is the line she's gonna be going through. So that went there. I've not heard back, even till right now. I've not heard back from the NMC if they are doing anything for that or not. I've not heard back, but if there's any update, I'll let you guys know. So in terms of the effects in my relationship, and when I say my relationship with my son, it got to a state whereby I started resenting my son, because I was like, oh, I could lose my job. So if I lose my job, how do I protect for you? How do I provide for you? And I think he realized his mistake as well. And when he needed stuff, he could not bring himself to come ask me. He needed to obviously do it going back to school. He could not tell me that he needed new school uniform. He could not, like, when he needed stuff from me, he could not bring himself to come ask me. He was going through his dad or going through his older sisters. And even right now, I'm still struggling to come to terms with the fact that a child I raised would go to school because I disciplined him. And this also brought me back to the effect that or the impact of social services in the life of African children. There was an incident a few weeks ago where an African child was unalived in the streets. And when information started coming out, this boy also peer pressure, GANG, blah blah blah. Social services are involved in his life, and this boy ended up dead. And at some point, I had to call my son and say, "Come, this boy that was fired is your friend. We live in the same building. You are the same classmate. Do you know the people who are involved in his life? The people you went to go and report me to are in his life. Where is he now? Dead. That I have forgiven you as my son for what you did. But for the fact that you're a 15-year-old and you've not come to apologize to me yet, even makes me resent you the more." And he stood there crying. I mean, seeing that tears in his eyes, I knew he's apologetic. He just couldn't bring himself to speak about this. So what I'm trying to say here in the essence is that you have to be very, very careful. Okay? Be open in all you do. Now, like I said, now they don't want us to train or discipline our kid. I was watching a video actually about, they say that in Africa the community trained the child, but here in diaspora everybody will just turn their face. So as a parent now, they don't want me to discipline my child, and then these children will now go to school and be unruly. They'll speak to their teachers anyhow, they'll behave anyhow, and the school will send them home, and the school will say, "Oh, I've sent so home, do you mind?" And I'll be like, and I'm thinking in my head, so as a parent, why are you phoning me? My child or a certain child has been rude to their teacher at school. Why are you phoning me as a parent that, "Oh, you've sent this child home? Could you?" No. Because at the end of the day, you've taken this discipline out of my hand. Discipline the child. Guys, I've not shared this story because I want you guys to come and do tatafo on my head. And if you want to do tatafo, do it. Are you feeling this here? Anyway, guys, so that's that story there. And even till now, when I reflect back on it, I'm super sad that as an African, we should be allowed to keep our culture of training our children. When I look back at how I was raised, maybe in the times up until the age where I left home, maybe my dad ever only raised his hands on me once or twice. Most times he disciplines me. Like, that kneel down and stool. So you one of your finger on the floor and you raise one of your legs up, stool down. That's the kind of punishment that my dad used to give me. And when my dad gave me such punishment, I would stood down like that and I would sleep on top punishment. Maybe twice if I can remember. My mom, obviously Abara, Igbati, a few times. I don't think my parents or my mom hit me up to 5 times while I was living with them. Did I die? No. Did I end up bad? No. Did I turn out bad? No. So I think being an African in diaspora, we should be allowed to instill some culture in our children. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, don't smack." No, it's not emotional. See, even nowadays, even when I'm talking to my kids and I raise my voice, they'll say, "Oh, mom, you are raising your voice at us." And I'm like, "So if I raise my voice at you, will you die?" All of these things, you cannot even raise your voice as a parent, as an African parent, to your child anymore, because if you do that, the child is telling you that you should not be raising their voice. You should not be raising your voice at them. You can't smack. So we should just watch our children railroad, and then they can easily send their enemies to jail. Guys, I don't want to make this video too long. It's already almost half an hour. I don't want to make it too long. But what I'm saying in essence is this, that if you ever find yourself in a case of social services, it pays to be honest. It pays to be honest to the social services, to your employer. There's no need trying to cut around the bush. And also, I'm still in the process of pulling that child towards me, because in a way, it's still slightly away from me. But yes, he always runs to his dad. And I'm quite happy that, yes, he knew what he did was wrong. He goes to his dad, and his dad was like, "Oh, Dupe, just he did not understand what he was doing, blah blah." But yes, I've forgiven him. But like I said, in essence, this story is just to let you know that there's benefit of being open, being transparent in all you do. And as parents as well, please don't smack your children. Don't smack. Don't smack them. I know as a parent now, I know what that means that I can use to discipline. Like now, the phone. If he annoys me again, I'll take the phone off him. I will take the Xbox. Some of them, without that Xbox and phone, it's like you've taken their life out of their hands. So that's my own weapon. At some point, I contemplated sending him to Africa. But I was like, what is the possibility of that happening? Because he knows there's a couple of his friends whose parents have sent them back home to Africa. So he knows that that is what we are doing, what African parents are doing. And so if I try to say, okay, let's go to Nigeria, he will look at me and even pack his bags before that day arrives. So guys, leave your thoughts and opinion in the comment section based on this story that I've shared. Did you think I shouldn't have, cooperated with social services? Did you think I should have contested the caution? Did you think I shouldn't have even mentioned anything to my work or not? Leave your thoughts and opinion in the comment section. And as always, guys, this in this story also emphasize the need for you to be registered with a workforce union. Whatever work or job you belong to, there's always a trade union. Please try and join me, because in my own case, I didn't even realize that they could offer me free legal advice, which I went to and I was able to get an advice from them. And with that being said, guys, this is where this data full will end. Were you expecting something else from this story? Were you expecting something else from this story? Anyway, leave your thoughts and opinion as always. And if you've watched this video till now, you've not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Don't forget to like, drop a comment in the comment section, subscribe if you've not yet done so, turn on your post notification, share this video. Do not hesitate to join my membership, and I'll catch up with you in another I Have a Confession. Don't take it personal. Bye.